Hey everyone, I'm Ola. Welcome to this video. So a few weeks ago, I went on a girls trip to Antigua and Lake Atitlán in Guatemala. If I'm being honest, initially I was not going to make a video about this trip, primarily because the trip was meant for me to disconnect. However, naturally, I found myself documenting, taking photos, taking videos of the architecture, the markets, the things that I saw at the markets, and some food that I ate. And I got some things from my home. I got some things from my friends and myself that I want to share with you guys. So this is going to be a market haul video, but I do want to share the things that I did. I was pleasantly surprised, especially from a design aspect. Not only were both of the places really, really beautiful, the people of Guatemala are also very kind people. The food was excellent. The places that we stayed in were phenomenal. Felt like I was able to disconnect to a point that I felt comfortable sharing aspects of my trip. I shared especially a lot on my Instagram stories. But before I get into the haul and my trip, I want to point out that I did start a Substack. It's gonna be more like a unfiltered journal, just my thoughts, because I have a lot of thoughts that I want to share with you guys and create conversation and dialogue around. And as much as I would love to make videos, making videos is very time intensive. I do really, really enjoy it, but it is time intensive, especially because I work full time. And I want to keep the conversation going with you guys, even outside of YouTube. So it's something I'm experimenting with. I only made one post. I think before I publish this video, I will definitely have a second one. I will definitely link my Substack in my description. But yeah, definitely check it out. This year, I had a bucket list of things that I wanted to do, and visiting a new country was one of them. So me and my friends, we decided to go to Guatemala. I honestly haven't heard a lot about Guatemala in terms of traveling there as a huge travel destination, but I'm so glad we went. So just for some context, Antigua is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, mainly because of its preservation of a lot of its Spanish colonial architecture. It was the capital city of the Spanish colonial era during the 16th century, I believe. And an earthquake hit the city, so pretty much the city was deserted for like 100 years. And then because of expansion with growing coffee beans, the city started to repopulate. When you step into Antigua, it's cobblestone streets. The architecture is still very Spanish colonial. Even when global corporations like McDonald's, Starbucks, Domino's have restaurants in the city of Antigua, they have to abide by the preservation of the city, which I think is so phenomenal. As much as I like to hate on McDonald's, I think it's very interesting visiting outside of the context of the US because they actually design and cater their menu to the local cuisine there, which makes sense, obviously, but it's just really cool to see the globalization effect in that sense. But yeah, another really cool thing about Antigua is despite it being a small city, it is surrounded by volcanoes, some of which are still active, Volcano Fuego. So we spent 7 days in Guatemala. 3 of those days were in Antigua, and then I think on Tuesday or Wednesday we left for Lake Atitlán and we spent 2 full days there. And then on Friday we went back to Antigua, back to the same hotel that we stayed in, and then Saturday we left in the evening. So yeah, in Antigua we stayed in Kaso Santo Domingo. It used to be a monastery that was converted into a resort hotel. I typically don't stay at resort hotels. However, this hotel definitely changed my mind. It was so beautiful. It had 6 museums, it had catacombs, it had obviously all of the other facilities that a hotel has, like a pool, a gym. But I want to talk about like the design details of this hotel, the tiling, the brickwork, the artwork in the hotel. Like, it had 6 museums. However, like when you're walking through the hallways, you see a lot of beautiful art. And I was just really fascinated by whoever is the curator, the art curator of the hotel, because the artwork was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. In terms of people who really love design details, Casa Santo Domingo was perfection. The whole city of Antigua, honestly, was perfection, especially if you like the Spanish colonial architecture, just because when I say details matter, details really matter. From the iron window frames, the cobblestone streets, Antigua really, really felt like a postcard. And a lot of that obviously has to do with the preservation of the city, which is a good and bad thing. However, I think of it as a good thing just because you get to see the culture of Antigua, especially the historic culture. In Antigua, I did a lot of shopping. I went to the market. I got this ceramic cup and initially attracted to it when I went to the store that was right beside the hotel. But I told myself, don't buy anything just yet. Just keep looking at things. If I don't see anything that I really like, I will always come back. Just because the store was really out of the way, it wasn't really getting a lot of foot traffic, so I knew that it will still be there. And what I really, really love about it is the shape of it. I also love the handle and I love the color on it. So these are actually peacock feathers. As I started going more and more into the local shops, I realized like these peacock ceramic colors are sort of ubiquitous. And then I just asked one of the shop owners at some point, like, what does the peacock feathers mean? A lot of Guatemala ancestry and history is rooted in Mayan culture. So for the peacock, the symbolism represents inner peace, protection, and I also think fertility, abundance and fertility, if I'm not mistaken. I obviously love the colors of this. That's what I gravitated so much to. And for it to have that spiritual context and meaning means a lot to me. Me and my friends, we walked around the city. We went to an artisanal market, and a lot of the locals don't really go to the artisanal markets. That's more for the tourists. However, I am a tourist, so I definitely checked it out. The artisanal market, a lot of the people who have booths there are artists themselves, or they're selling really, really unique things. So one thing that I got from this artisanal market is this really beautiful pouch, and I really love it because of the hand embroidery. The lady that I got it from, it's called Nelly's Shop. She had really, really beautiful things, and she was really, really sweet. She also had great pricing. A big reason why I love to go to markets is because I love to bargain. I just love the thrill. Not that I am trying to undervalue the seller and what they are trying to price it at. It really is just fun for me. It really is. But yeah, I got this pouch. I'm not sure if I want to use it as a toiletry bag because inside is clear plastic. My friend used it one night with her outfit, and it looked really, really beautiful together. I wish I took a picture of her outfit. I loved the bag. The embroidery, again, the embroidery detail is really beautiful. She herself made this pouch, but she didn't make the embroidery details. She recycled the embroidery from something else, and she put it on this pouch. And I also love the stripes on here. She had so many beautiful things that she showed me, and I was going to come back to her, but then she showed me this, and right away I had to get it just because I never seen anything like it. So yeah, now it's mine. My friend and I, we ended up getting bags. She also got a bag similar, but her is more like a baguette bag. I don't know if this is calf hair or deer hair, but it is so incredibly crafted. It used to have a longer strap, but we asked them to cut it shorter. So it looks like this. Like, it's so cute, so stinking cute. Between me and my friend, both of our bags was 800 quetzales. Let me double check to see how much that is in US dollars. A little over $100, so we both paid 50 bucks each. I'll ask her to send me a photo of her bag because her bag was really, really cute. That is in the same market that I got this pouch from, obviously from a different seller. I think that's pretty much it in terms of the artisanal market. On the street near this really, really beautiful church, it's called Iglesia de la Merced. There was this lady selling beautiful rings, and I saw this ring. Is a Natalia shell, and she also had this other beautiful silver ring that had quartz, but the price she wanted to sell it to me for was really, really expensive. I still think about the ring. I should have just gotten it, to be honest with you. However, I knew that I wanted this one more so. And it's silver. I don't remember how much I paid for it. I think I paid 20 bucks for this. I just love it. It's a shell ring and I'm a Cancer. A shell, crab. I love the stone too, the stonework in it. Really, really beautiful ring. And I wear it quite often. So yeah, I'm wearing it for this video, obviously. There's another store called Nimpo. It is a artisan craft store. I definitely recommend going to it just to visit it. This store, the prices are set. I got this really, really cute heart-shaped oven mitt, and this was 80 quetzales. So it's not bad at all. Then I got this hairband from there, which was 18 quetzales. I think these are the two things that I got from Nimpo. Nimpo is a really, really beautiful store. They have everything, so you don't feel like you need to go to any sort of specialty shops. It's a huge store. They had a wide variety of different things. The last thing that I got while I was in Antigua was this Cacao Candle. They have a Choco museum, and I ended up getting, I didn't get chocolates, but I got this candle. I got one for me and my friend. It's in the cacao shell. And it smells so good. It smells like cocoa butter. And I just love how sustainable they were in terms of using the shell for the candle. I haven't used it yet just because I still have candles that I need to finish. All right, so that's all the things that I got in Antigua. So we're going to leave and go to Lake Atitlán. But before I even get to Lake Atitlán, me and my friends, we wanted to do a hike, and we did the volcano Pacaya, and that was such an incredible experience. It was really, really steep, but it's like an hour to the top and an hour down. At some points, they have horses that go up with you just in case people decide that it's too steep. So you can pay one of the guys to ride on the horse all the way up. And then when you get up to the top, the view is just really incredible. It was really cloudy, but the clouds were constantly moving out of the way, so you can see Volcano Fuego, the volcano that's still very active. And then you could see all of the other volcanoes in the region as well. On our way down, we stopped in what I think is a crater where it had a lot of volcanic ash, a lot of volcanic rocks, and there was a lot of steam in the atmosphere. The lady told us that the volcano was technically inactive because it hasn't erupted since 2021. So, but there's still a lot of steam. So to me, I'm like, it might not be erupting, but it's still active. But at some point, we were toasting marshmallows. The heat from the ground is really, really warm to the point that the marshmallows do get like gooey. If you are going to Antigua and you want to do like a nature hike, definitely recommend it. After the hike, we went straight back to the hotel and then literally had to go to Lake Atitlán right after. So in Lake Atitlán, we stayed in San Marcos. And San Marcos is more of like the bohemian, hippie, wellness area of the lake. And that is where I got this beautiful bracelet that has this green stone. On the tail ends of the bracelet, there's these bluish green jade stone, and again, this is silver as well. I think I paid 250 quetzales for this. I think that's about $30. I bargained with the man, so, and even though I bargained with him, he was so happy that I brought my friends, because my friends bought stuff too. Oh my god, my friend bought this beautiful bag. Okay, whatever. I'll definitely show a picture of the bag that I wish I bought, but she saw it first. Even though we stayed in more of like the wellness area, the more hippie bohemian area of the Lake San Marcos, I didn't really engage a lot in the yoga and the stuff like that. Not because I didn't want to, just because the Airbnb that we stayed in was right on the lake. That helped just recharge me mentally and spiritually and physically. I love being by the water, and it was just, I think it, to me, Antigua was really calm because the hotel we stayed in wasn't in the smack dab city center, but Lake Atitlán was really, really calm. Obviously, the lake, the water has a very calming presence. Like once the sun starts setting, you don't really see boats. So because of that, it just got really quiet early. That really added to the serenity, the calmness of Lake Atitlán. So another thing that I got in San Marcos was this cup, this teacup. It's another Guatemalan peacock cup. The color is not quite the same as the bigger cup, but I kind of like that. And Also got this cup because it's such a classic teacup. It's just really, really cute. And I think this was 10 bucks or 7 bucks. I don't really remember. I think it was 70 quetzales. And then another thing that I really, one of my favorite purchases that I got in San Marcos was this skull, this green jasper skull. I've never seen anything like it. It's probably one of the most unique things that I saw in all of the markets that I went to. But me and my friend were going back and forth with this lady for like almost 40 minutes. And I was really trying my best to negotiate down. My friend wanted a green jade crocodile, but I ended up buying this skull for 300 quetzales. I also love skulls. I couldn't tell you a real reason why I love skulls. I think it might just be the part of me that really loves rock and roll, or the part of me that just really just finds them fascinating, especially when they are presented in such an artful form like this. And I think why it's one of my favorite purchases, because it was just so fun going back and forth with the lady, almost to the point that I just kept calling her mi amiga to try to convince her to come down on the price for me. And she eventually did, and she didn't take a picture of me. I think she's put it like in the WhatsApp group or whatever that she has, but yeah, whatever. So that is all I got from San Marcos. We also explored a different part of the lake called San Juan. And one thing that I will say about Lake Atitlán that I think is really phenomenal is that each town on the lake offers something completely different. So in San Marcos, it's known as the bohemian, the hippie vibe of the lake. Then San Juan, where we went to, is known as the art side of the lake. So they have a lot of culture in terms of art. So you will see a lot of art galleries. So many art galleries. You see people painting in the art galleries. You see a lot of these really beautiful historically Mayan culture things. So when I was in San Juan, I bought this lighter, and this is something that I'm giving to my friend. I just thought it was so beautiful, but I just loved the art on the lighter case. I also got this from my friend. It's a hair tie. All of it is beading. Because the last thing that I got in San Juan was this mask. This mask is a dare. I asked the lady what it means. I think there was a language barrier, so she didn't really know how to explain what it really meant. But she said that this is a dare. I really loved the details on it. I loved the color on it. I plan on putting this mask in my room. I really was not going to get a mask because I have quite a few masks already at home, but this one really caught my eye and my attention. And I think I paid 150 quetzales for this one. So back to Lake Atitlán. San Juan is known for the arts, the culture. They have streets full of murals, beautiful street art. Even the local school was painted with these beautiful murals. Another part of Lake Atitlán that we visited was San Pedro, and that's considered like the backpacker town. So you see a lot of hostels. Apparently it's also known as having more nightlife. So people who want that, they tend to stay on that part of the lake. Then there was Santa Cruz part, and that is known to be more hilly. People go there more if they want to see more nature, they want to hike more. There's definitely more towns that I wish we had more time to visit on the lake, but I think that was what I thought was so cool about Lake Atitlán, is that each part of the lake had something different to offer as a way to encourage people who are visiting Lake Atitlán to visit different parts of the lake. In that way, it's kind of beautifully designed. It doesn't feel like one town is encroaching on another town. Each town really just knows its place, has what it's specialty with. I will say, if you want like more jewelry and more cool stuff, I definitely saw more of that in San Marcos where we stayed. However, if you want more art and things like that for your home, San Juan had a lot of that. Like my friend took home this really beautiful Picasso style painting. But yeah, there's one more thing that I want to share with you guys that I completely forgot, which is probably my hands down favorite purchase. I found this beautiful leather apron. One of our first few days in Antigua, we went to a wine bar and one of the servers had this apron to the side, and I asked him, where did you get this? And he told me he saw it at the leather shop that was within the courtyard, and they were closed. So the next day we went back, but they didn't have this apron. It just so happens to be the second to last day that I'm just walking around this leather house. They have like 4 stores in Antigua, but I just happened to stumble upon the biggest one, and then they had the apron there. The guy who was there, he is the son of the designer of all of the leather goods in that store. He told me that this is an apron made of scrap leather. So these are the leathers that they use for bags, shoes, wallets, other aprons. There were only 3 aprons left, and I got this one because this one had the softest feel. The other ones were really kind of stiff. But yeah, I love this apron. I just think it's so unique. I'm probably gonna use it to do like crafts and activities with it. I think this was 490 quetzales, but I got him down to 470. I am obsessed, and just to have a leather apron that looks this unique, super excited to have this. This is definitely going to be with me forever, like forever, ever, forever, ever, forever, ever. That is pretty much it for my haul for Guatemala. I had such an incredible time. Next time when I do travel and I go to markets, I'm gonna make sure that I get more content around actually showing you guys the actual markets and stuff like that. It's something that I have on like my wish list of things to create content around, just because again, I really love going to markets. Whatever I might stumble upon that day that is just gonna come home with me, you know what I mean? So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely tell me what your favorite item was, or tell me what is your favorite item that you found like when you were traveling or going to a local market. That is it for today's video. I will definitely catch you guys on the next one. See you later. Bye.